Before we get started, I wanted to let everybody know that I have a new book that is available on Kindle, and it is called Recommended Reading for the True Conservative. 50 pages long, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. Other than that, it's $3.99. So again, that is Recommended Reading for the True Conservative. And now, on with the podcast.
I'm working very hard.
Yeah.
Well, you know, my father, he was a workaholic.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You mentioned work, he got drunk.
I didn't know.
Well, I finally solved my drinking problem. I joined Alcoholics Anonymous, you know.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I still drink. I use a different name, that's all. Now, I'll tell you, my problem is I drink too much, way too much.
Yeah.
I get my doctor a urine specimen. There was an olive in it. Hey, when I drink, I don't know what I'm doing. I was loaded one item into a gay bar. It was ridiculous. There was 15 guys for every guy. This is on full.
Yeah,
This is
it's
on
on
full.
full,
It's
yeah.
on full. Okay, yeah. Now, I'm never lucky in bars. I saw a sign over one bar. It said topless, bottomless. I went inside. There was no one there.
Life ain't easy.
I made enough to work, sir. I decided to look out for number one, and I stepped to number two. And smoking, that's another one. Try to stop smoking. That's a beauty, huh? Well, with cigarettes, my wife and I, we made a deal, my wife and I. We only smoke after sex. I got the same pack now since 1975. What bothers me is my wife. She's up to 3 packs a day. I tell you the truth, and my wife and I, we never have sex. Now, we get undressed, we can't stop laughing, you know?
Good morning. It's Wednesday, Science Wednesday, June the 3rd, and this is The True Conservative. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. So today, after the Serenity Prayer and the patriotic song of the day, we will have Varney and Company, motivation, meditation, and Professor Feynman. All that and more when I get back. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I should not change, the courage to change the things I should, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you. Now, Varney and Company.
Now with Stu. Take it away.
All right, good morning, Maria. Good morning, everyone. Could it be that Californians start electing non-Democrats to public office? Could it be that the Democrats' lock on California politics is beginning to crack? Yes, there are signs. Steve Hilton leads the gubernatorial primary in California. It's only a small lead, and there are still lots of ballots to be counted. Hilton has been endorsed by President Trump. It is a strong performance by a conservative candidate in a statewide race. In Los Angeles, the non-Democrat candidate for mayor is Spencer Pratt. He trails Democrat Mayor Karen Bass by a small margin. Again, that's a strong performance by a conservative in the bluest of blue states. Outside California, the anti-Israel, pro-socialist bloc in the Democrat Party is clearly growing. In New Jersey, Adam Hamawi, he easily beat Brad Cohen in a Democrat primary. Hamawi opposes any aid to Israel. He is a socialist, and he was a character witness for the blind sheikh who was convicted on terrorist charges after the first World Trade Center bombing. All right. That's politics. More on that in a moment. To the markets. And again, the standout is the decline in Bitcoin. It's now back, moments ago, it was at $66,000 a coin. Now it's just over 67. Stocks mixed. The Dow off about 200 points at the opening bell. Look at the S&P. It's been up 9 weeks in a row. That is a rally, down just a little today. The Nasdaq is actually virtually unchanged. It's up 9 points. War news. Iran and the U.S. exchanged fire overnight. Iran attacked Kuwait. The president says that talks have not collapsed. The two sides, he says, are talking continuously. The price of oil, though, that has gone back up to the mid-$90 level. You're at $96.08 as of right now. The price of gasoline, that's still $4.26. But in California, it's dropped about a penny. It's just below $6, $5.99 in California. And diesel down a couple of cents at $5.41. As for the 10-year Treasury, it is still below 4.5%, 4.49, only just below. The 2-year above 4%. You're looking at 4.08 as of now. On the show today, the Democrats are sticking with Graham Plattner as their candidate for Maine's Senate seat. Plattner was grilled by senior Democrats in D.C. Tuesday. Chuck Schumer emerged from the meeting to say their only game was to beat Republican Susan Collins. He ignored Plattner's opposition to any aid for Israel and his other scandals as well. And we'll check out the sorry state of men at work. A large number of males have simply dropped out of the workforce, and the number of teens looking for a summer job has fallen through the floor. What is going on? Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026.
And that was Varney and Company, Nonprofit News Now. Back in a minute. Thank you. That desperation feeds the liberal ego. It reassures them that they still have influence, that we still need them, and that they remain in control of the emotional landscape. Withholding attention after causing harm amplifies this effect. Instead of acknowledging our pain, the liberal retreats. They ignore our messages, dismiss our concerns, or act indifferent to our suffering. This silence serves a dual purpose. It avoids responsibility and reinforces their dominance. That combination is psychologically destabilizing. It creates a sense of urgency and helplessness. And in that emotional confusion, the liberal becomes the only source of potential relief. What's particularly damaging is that this pattern often mimics respect at first. In the beginning, the liberal may have flooded us with attention, compliments, messages, gestures that made us feel respected. This initial high set the stage for dependency. Once we've experienced their focused attention, its absence becomes noticeable, even painful. The contrast between the idealization phase and the devaluation phase is stark, and it's that contrast that keeps the conservatives trapped. We're constantly chasing the return of something that was never real to begin with. The withdrawal of attention is also used to punish. If we assert boundaries, question their behavior, or express hurt, the liberal often responds not with dialogue, but with distance. They freeze us out, deny us the emotional engagement that would normally accompany conflict resolution. This silent punishment reinforces the idea that our emotions are problematic, that voicing them leads to abandonment, and that the only way to regain connection is to suppress our needs and comply over time. This trains us to prioritize their comfort over our own well-being. Furthermore, attention becomes a measure of our worth in the liberals' eyes. When they're attentive, we feel accepted. When they're withdrawn, we feel discarded. This conditional acceptance keeps us off balance. We never know where we stand, and that uncertainty fuels a cycle of self-questioning and emotional dependency. The liberal exploits this instability to maintain control. They don't need to raise their voice or make threats. The mere possibility of losing their attention is enough to keep us in line. The liberals' use of attention as currency is not just about controlling the present and conditions our expectations for future relationships. It teaches us to tolerate emotional starvation and to overvalue the moments when someone finally looks our way. Their ignorance is not forgetfulness, it's strategy. When a liberal ignores the pain they've caused us, it's tempting to believe they simply don't remember, that maybe the hurtful things they said or did didn't register, or they've moved on too quickly to comprehend the depth of our suffering. But this perception misunderstands the nature of liberal behavior. The reality is far more calculated. The liberal ignorance is rarely accidental. It is a chosen stance, a defensive posture designed to maintain control, superiority, and psychological distance. Liberals often choose to act as if nothing happened. They may return to the relationship with a smile, a casual message, or complete silence, behaving as though the emotional damage doesn't warrant acknowledgement. This isn't forgetfulness, it's a maneuver. By pretending the event never occurred, they erase our experience. They deny us the validation of our feelings. This isn't just evasion. If they can make us question whether the incident was even worth mentioning, they succeed in rewriting the narrative in their favor. This selective ignorance allows them to avoid uncomfortable truths. If they acknowledge what they did, they would have to confront the possibility that they are capable of cruelty, negligence, or betrayal. That kind of introspection is dangerous to the liberal self-concept. So instead of wrestling with guilt or shame, they choose to detach. They distance themselves not only from us, but from the version of themselves that inflicted harm. In doing so, they maintain the illusion that they are blameless, rational, even justified. This strategy also shifts the burden onto us. If they act like they don't remember the hurtful comment, the emotional abandonment, it forces us into the uncomfortable position of either letting it go or having to bring it up again. And when we do bring it up, they often act surprised, irritated, or indifferent. They might accuse us of being dramatic, overly sensitive, or living in the past. This further isolates us, making us feel unreasonable for expecting resolution. It also reinforces their control because now we're the ones seeking answers, clarity, or closure, and they're the gatekeeper. By claiming ignorance, the liberal dodges accountability. There's no need to apologize for something they don't recall. There's no need to repair damage they pretend doesn't exist. This avoidance is deliberate. It allows them to continue their behavior without consequence. They get to move on, clean and untouched, while we're left holding the weight of the unresolved wound. It's an emotional sleight of hand, a way to maintain the upper hand while appearing innocent or detached. The behavior is often so subtle that it creates confusion. We may wonder if we misunderstood the situation or if we exaggerated the hurt. Perhaps we're too emotionally reactive. This self-doubt plays right into their strategy. As long as we're focused on their own reactions, we're not examining theirs. This deflection protects them while destabilizing us. It requires a dynamic where our pain is invisible and their comfort remains the central priority. This strategic ignorance also gives them an exit route. If a relationship begins to deteriorate, they can walk away with a clean conscience. They don't have to carry the emotional baggage of what they did because in their version of events, nothing serious happened. Or even if it did, it was our fault. This mental rewrite not only protects their ego, but also prepares them for the next relationship where they can present themselves as the wronged party or the innocent one who just wanted peace. Even in cases where they admit to a vague awareness of conflict, they often minimize it. They might say things like, "I didn't think it was a big deal," or "I thought you were over it by now." These statements are not neutral. They are designed to invalidate our emotions and reframe the situation as trivial. This minimization further reinforces their narrative and discourages us from bringing up similar concerns in the future. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, motivation.
The problems of failure, the problems of discouragement, of hopelessness, of hunger. Things go wrong.
We all get knocked down in every aspect of life.
There will come a time where you will hit a certain piece of adversity. You will hit a certain piece of opposition. And your strength alone won't do it. You will have to pull from another place. You will have to have a why, because you will hit this piece of adversity and son, it will crush you. It will make you quit. It will make you give up. It will make you not want to get up in the morning if you don't have another source to pull from. And so you have to train yourself mentally. You have to train yourself physically so you can be strong in every aspect of your life. Because the thing about life, somebody is depending on all of us to keep going.
When everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more. And let me tell you something, that's a lonely feeling. Oh, it hurts very badly. I know what that's like. Have people that you love close to you that look at you with that look and say, why don't you try something else? Why don't you give up?
When you face the world and all of your negative, toxic family members and friends will knock the wind out of you. When you break down, and you're going to break down, when you go back to the fiery furnaces of this world, when you find yourself getting weak and losing control, what is it that can keep you on the straight and narrow? One of the reasons, write down 5 compelling reasons of why you're going to keep your commitment to change your life. Keep your commitment never to go back to the life that you once lived. Keep your commitment to creating wealth for yourself, to taking care of your children, to be more responsible. Keep your commitment to live a life of contribution, to keep your commitment to be a conqueror and to act like it and to have authority and dominion over everything in your life. What are those reasons? If life knocked you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Your reasons will help you to get back up again. They'll be your rod and staff to comfort you.
If you're ready to quit, you're ready to give up, you're ready to give in. You ready to tell me what's not working, who doing this, what's wrong? If you're not ready to get up every day and start all over again like nothing happened yesterday. If you're soft, you want to get out now. I'm human just like everybody else. But let me tell you why I won't fall. I will not give up 20 years of grind. I will not put all this in for 20 years and give it up overnight. I work too hard. You thought for 1 minute that you broke me. You got me twisted. I am not phenomenally skilled, but phenomenally willed. I will not give up. I will not surrender. I will not quit. And your problem is you give it up too easy. Some of you can quit because you ain't paid for nothing. I dare you to take a little pain. You ain't gonna die. At the end of pain is success. You're not gonna die because you're feeling a little pain. It's gonna be a fight. At some point, you gotta go take the life out of it. Go get it. Don't run from it no more. Go get it. You go in there and go get that grade. You go in there and get that information so you can pass that class. You gotta go get it. I don't need you thinking about it no more. You're doing too much thinking. You analyze it too much. You're talking yourself out of it. I just need you to keep moving. I need you to make up in your mind that the only way you can lose is if you quit. I just need you to keep going. I had a meltdown in class. You might have a couple more before success. It's a part of the game. You can't be successful without some meltdowns. Struggle for another year and a half and be free for the rest of your life. Or you can say, I'm tired of struggling and stop struggling and struggle for the next 20, 30 years. Press past it. Come on. Stop whining and crying and give it up. Press past it. It's going to hurt. Yes. Ask any mother that's had a child. It's probably feel like they're going to die. But guess what? They get through it. And on the other side, when that child comes out, they forget all about the pain. Your dream comes when you push. Everybody might give you no cookies and ice cream. Push. It's alive. It's inside. How do you know you feel it? You dream about it. You eat and sleep it every day. When people talk to you, tell them, this is what I'm going to do. So push. Just push past the pain. Push. way to success. You push yourself to the next level. Work while you wait. You don't know how long it's going to take. But if you stop now, if you quit now, the one thing I can tell you is for certain it's never going to happen. Delay don't mean deny. Delay just means you're going to have to wait a minute. When the unsuccessful are in delay, they get nervous. They get worried. They give up. They quit. They stop. They surrender because they don't see what they think they should see. But when the successful are in delay, we work while we wait. We grind in between time. We don't give up. We don't surrender. We don't quit. We see differently. Our perspective is different. And because our perspective is different, our outcomes are different. Our rewards are different.
There's times where you're going to have to do it alone. There's not going to be any team support. There's not going to be any family support. There's not going to be any friend support. There's going to be times where you've got to go and do it yourself, and you got to do it alone. And those are the times that make a difference. Those are the times that count. Those are the times where you have to dig deep yourself to get the job done. And if you can make that happen, you will win.
And that was motivating. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now a little meditation. And that was a little bit of meditation. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now, Professor Feynman.
One of the most interesting questions in science isn't about something we've discovered. It's about something we haven't found. And that question was asked by a physicist named Enrico Fermi back in 1950. He was sitting down having lunch with some colleagues, and they were talking about whether alien life existed out there in the universe. And then Fermi asked something wonderfully simple. Where is everybody? Now that seems like an odd thing to get worried about. But think about what he was really asking. If the universe is this enormous old thing, and it is, with billions and billions of stars, and many of those stars must have planets, and some of those planets must have life, and some of that life must be intelligent. Then where are they? Why haven't they visited us? Why haven't we seen their spaceships? Why haven't we detected their radio signals? This became known as the Fermi paradox, and it's actually a profound question. Not because it's mysterious in a supernatural way, but because the answer involves some beautiful physics that I want to talk to you about today. You see, there's a very simple explanation for why we don't see alien visitors, even if they're out there. And the explanation is that interstellar travel, traveling between the stars, is incredibly, almost impossibly difficult. And the problem isn't that we haven't invented the right technology yet. The problem is the laws of physics themselves. Let me start with something basic. The next star over from us is called Proxima Centauri. It's the closest star to our sun besides the sun itself. And it's about 4.25 light years away. Now, what does that mean? Well, light is the fastest thing in the universe. Nothing can go faster than light. This isn't just something that's true right now with our current technology. It's a fundamental law of nature. Einstein figured this out, and it's been confirmed 1,000 times over. Light travels at about 300,000 kilometers per second. And even going at that speed, the speed of nothing can match. It takes light over 4 years to get from here to Proxima Centauri. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. The distance to Proxima Centauri is roughly 40 trillion kilometers. If you wanted to send a spaceship there, and you wanted to get there in, say, a human lifetime, let's be generous and say 50 years, you'd have to go at about 10% the speed of light. Just 10%. That doesn't sound too bad when you say it fast. But let me ask you a question. How much energy would that take? Well, we can calculate this. And the answer is, it would take more energy than humanity currently produces in an entire year, just to accelerate one spacecraft to 10% of light speed. Not to keep it going, just to speed it up initially. You understand, that's with our current understanding of physics and energy production. An advanced alien civilization would be able to do this more efficiently, sure, but they still wouldn't be able to do it easily. And here's the thing that most people don't think about. 10% of light speed is still incredibly slow when you're talking about traveling across the galaxy. The Milky Way, our galaxy, is about 100,000 light years across. That means at 10% of light speed, the trip would take 1 million years. 1 million years for just one journey across the galaxy. Even if you're an advanced civilization with amazing technology, do you spend 1 million years traveling? But wait, there's more. There's something else we have to consider, and this is where Einstein comes back in. When you start moving really fast, when you get close to the speed of light, something weird happens. Time itself starts to slow down for you. This isn't magic or anything. This is just how the universe works. It's called time dilation, and it's real. If you traveled at, say, 99% of the speed of light to some distant star, you might experience only a few years of travel. But here on Earth, centuries would pass. So from your perspective, you took a quick trip. But everyone you ever knew is now long dead. Their civilizations have changed, evolved, possibly even disappeared. You'd come back to a completely alien world. That's a pretty lonely voyage, isn't it? There's another problem I want to talk about, and it's one that really bothers engineers. It's called the tyranny of the rocket equation. You see, to go fast in space, you need fuel. Lots of fuel. And not just fuel to push the spacecraft. You need fuel to push the fuel. You need fuel to push the fuel that pushes the fuel. It's a cascade, and it gets out of hand very quickly. A scientist named Konstantin Tsiolkovsky worked this out, and what he discovered is that to reach really high velocities, the spacecraft has to be almost entirely made of fuel. The actual payload, the people, the equipment, the cargo, becomes a tiny, tiny fraction of the total mass. So if you wanted to send a spacecraft to Proxima Centauri in 50 years, carrying actual people, the fuel requirements would be so enormous that the spacecraft would have to be the size of, well, a mountain. Literally. And that's assuming you find fuel with incredibly high energy density. The best fuel we have is antimatter. Matter and antimatter annihilating each other in a burst of pure energy. But we can barely produce or contain antimatter. An advanced civilization might do this better, but it's still fundamentally difficult. Now, someone might say, well, why don't we just go faster? Let's build a spacecraft that goes at, I don't know, 50% the speed of light. Good question. Here's the answer. As you approach the speed of light, something happens according to relativity. Your mass increases, not your weight, your actual mass. And the more mass you have, the more energy you need to accelerate it further. By the time you get to really high speeds, you're hitting an asymptote. The closer you get to light speed, the more and more energy you need to push a little bit faster. In fact, to reach the speed of light itself would require infinite energy, which is impossible. You can never actually reach it. You can get close, but never quite there. So think about this. An advanced alien civilization has to deal with the same laws of physics that we do. The speed of light is the speed of light. Relativity is relativity. Einstein doesn't care how smart you are. These laws apply to everyone, everywhere in the universe. So no matter how advanced they are, they're still constrained by the same fundamental limitations. But wait, there's more problems. Let's say somehow you've solved the energy problem. Let's say you figured out how to build a spacecraft that can go at significant fractions of light speed. Now you have to navigate through space. And space isn't actually empty, you know. There are asteroids, there are comets, there's dust, there are particles. And if you're traveling at, let's say, 50% the speed of light, which is 150,000 kilometers per second, and you hit a pebble, just a little rock, what happens? The impact energy is enormous. It's equivalent to a nuclear explosion, a small nuclear bomb, just from hitting a pebble. So now you need advanced shielding. You need sophisticated detection systems to see hazards coming toward you. You need to plot courses that avoid all of this stuff. And you're doing this over journeys that take decades or centuries. That's incredibly difficult. And here's something else. Keeping biological creatures alive over those timescales is its own nightmare. You need food, water, oxygen, the right temperature, radiation shielding. The human body isn't designed for years of weightlessness. Bones get weaker, muscles atrophy, your immune system goes weird. You'd need life support systems that work perfectly for centuries. Any failure, and everyone dies. Some people have suggested cryogenic sleep, freezing people, putting them into hibernation, and waking them up when you arrive. Sounds great, right? Except we can't actually do this. We've tried with animals, and it's incredibly difficult. We don't even know if we could freeze humans without destroying their brains. And even if we could, what happens to all the biological systems over hundreds of years? The equipment breaks down. Life is fragile. So here's what an advanced civilization might do instead. Forget about sending biological creatures. Send robots. Send artificial intelligence. Those don't need food. They don't deteriorate over centuries. They can be incredibly robust. A robot could survive the radiation, the cold, the impacts. It could travel for 1,000 years and still function. That's much more practical for interstellar exploration. And actually, this might explain something important. You see, some scientists have proposed that if aliens are exploring the galaxy, they're probably doing it with self-replicating probes. Robotic spacecraft that can make copies of themselves, repair themselves, and spread throughout the galaxy. If this happened billions of years ago, and remember, many stars are much older than our sun, then the galaxy should be full of these old alien probes. They should be everywhere. Some of them might be nearby, but we don't see any. We don't see evidence of any old alien machinery. We don't detect any radio signals. We don't see any megastructures or evidence of massive energy use in other star systems. Nothing. And that's what the Fermi paradox is really about. It's not just, why haven't they visited us? It's, why don't we see any evidence of their existence at all? Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and it's a bit more speculative, but it's interesting. Some physicists have suggested that maybe we could bypass the speed of light limitation using something called a wormhole. Einstein's equations actually allow for wormholes, their solutions to the equations mathematically valid. A wormhole would be like a tunnel through space-time that connects two distant regions of space, so you could travel between them without actually covering the distance. Sounds amazing, right? Except there's a problem. These wormholes would be unstable. They would collapse almost instantly unless you held them open with exotic matter, matter with negative energy density, also called exotic matter. And we have no idea if exotic matter even exists or if you could get enough of it to keep a wormhole open. It's theoretically allowed by the equations, but practically, we have no idea. It might be impossible. Similar ideas have been proposed about warp drives, using gravity to bend space in front of a spacecraft and straighten it behind, creating a bubble of space that moves faster than light. Again, mathematically allowed by general relativity. But the energy requirements are absurd. You'd need more energy than exists in the observable universe. And you'd need exotic matter. Again, we don't know if this is really possible. So here's the thing. Maybe there are clever tricks using physics that we don't understand yet. Maybe there's something about the universe that we're missing. But we have to work with what we know. And what we know is that it's incredibly difficult to travel between the stars. Incredibly difficult. Now, let me put this all together. The Fermi paradox says, given that the universe is old and huge and full of stars and planets, where is everybody? Why haven't advanced civilizations colonized the galaxy? Why don't we see evidence of them? And the most elegant answer is the simplest one. They don't visit us because they can't. Not because they don't want to, not because they're hiding, not because they're nice and following some treaty with primitive species like us. They don't visit us because the physics of the universe makes interstellar travel so phenomenally difficult that it's almost not worth doing. Think about it from the perspective of an advanced civilization. Maybe they're out there, on their world, around their star. They've figured out most of the physics we know, maybe more. They've developed incredible technology. But they look out at the stars, and they do the same calculations Fermi did. They realize that to mount an interstellar mission would require an enormous commitment of resources and centuries or millennia of time, just for the chance to visit another star system. And there's no guarantee they'd find anything interesting when they got there. For an advanced civilization that has already figured out how to use their star's energy, how to manage their planetary resources, why would they bother? Sure, scientific curiosity is powerful. Maybe some advanced civilizations do occasionally send out robotic probes to explore. But it's not cheap, and it's not easy, and there's no guarantee of payoff. And another thing, if a civilization becomes advanced enough to do interstellar travel, they've probably also become advanced enough to create other things. Maybe artificial intelligence that's smarter than they are. Maybe they can upload their minds into computers. Maybe they find ways to manipulate space and time in ways we can't imagine. Do they really want to spend centuries in a spacecraft? Maybe they've found something better. Here's another angle on this. Maybe most civilizations that could theoretically do interstellar travel simply choose not to. Maybe they've looked at the numbers, done the calculations, and decided it's not a good use of their resources. Maybe they focus on understanding their own world better or pursuing other interests. Civilizations are different, after all. Just because it's theoretically possible doesn't mean they'll do it. And there's one more possibility I want to mention. It's more sobering. It's called the Great Filter. And the idea is this. There must be something that prevents most civilizations from spreading across the galaxy. Either they never develop advanced technology in the first place, or they do develop it, but they wipe themselves out before they can spread to other worlds. Self-destruction from war, from environmental collapse, from artificial intelligence gone wrong, from something we haven't even thought of. If the Great Filter is behind us, if we've somehow already passed through it by surviving this long, then we might be lucky. But if it's ahead of us, then we need to be very careful, because it means that civilizations don't last long. They tend to self-destruct. But I don't want to end on a dark note. I want to end with this. The Fermi paradox is really a gift to us. It's asking us to think carefully about the universe, about physics, about what's really possible and what isn't. And the answer that emerges is actually kind of beautiful. It says that the universe, for all its vastness, is also deeply constrained by the laws of physics. Space is vast, time dilation is real, energy requirements are astronomical, and the speed of light is truly a barrier. An advanced civilization isn't magical. They can't bend the laws of physics any more than we can. They're constrained by the same universe we are. They have to deal with the same problems. And that's actually a hopeful thing, in a way. It means the universe is orderly. It means that if we understand the fundamental laws of physics, we understand something universal. We understand something that applies to all civilizations everywhere. So when you look up at the night sky and you wonder if anyone's out there looking back at us, the answer is probably yes. Life is probably common in the universe. Intelligence probably evolved in multiple places. But visiting us, actually getting here, that's phenomenally difficult. The light years are too many. The energy requirements are too vast. The timescales are too long. And that's why even advanced aliens can't visit. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they don't want to, but because the universe itself makes the journey nearly impossible. And there's something beautiful in that. It means we're not alone, but we are, in a very real sense, isolated. We're separated not by walls or treaties, but by the fabric of space-time itself.
And that was Professor Feynman. Back in a minute. Thank you. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States today, bidding adios to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there, and reminding you that you're not neutral and that the government has no rights.